New video suggests that the Eaton Fire may have been started at a Southern California Edison transmission tower.
We're gonna hike up to the transmission lines. The power line suspected of causing this fire could have been removed years ago.
Lawsuits filed against Edison.
Edison, just like, how do they fix this? They wrecked it. They wrecked the whole town. So today we're gonna head up to Eaton Canyon and to the transmission lines that purportedly started the Eaton Fire. I'm not hiking up here to go hiking. I'm going up there to go see where the birthplace of the Eaton Fire is. It's important for me to understand how a power line can essentially wreck a city overnight. Today we're going to walk you through what we know about the fire and how it began. From everything we've learned, it started with a set of 3 transmission towers deep in the canyon. Standing where it all began will give us perspective we just can't get from the street. And along the way, we'll show you what we see and what Eaton Canyon looks like today. All right, we're going up the Altadena Crest Trail. You got levels?
Yep.
All right, here we go. I'll be joined by my producing partner, Ben. We need to be extra careful because in addition to the fires that ravaged the area, recent rainfall triggered some mudslides, washing out the trail and making this hike a bit more dangerous. Look at how much mud has stopped here. They're gonna have to come in here and excavate all that out. Careful here. All right, so here's where it starts to get sketchy. This was the trail. So this trail literally goes above my area of Altadena, East Altadena. It looks completely different since the fire and now the mudslides. So we're gonna find out how far we can go. I don't wanna put us in any unnecessary danger, obviously. I mean, the trail's definitely washed out, but at least it's still here for the most part. Careful, it's moving. Light feet, light feet. There are little patches of green showing up here. Like you can see grass starting to come in, which is good. Something Ben and I noticed was the firefighter memorial. I've seen it before, but this time it hit differently. It says LA Co. FD Camp 2 to our brothers, August 20th, 1993. In 1993, a wildfire broke out here in Eaton Canyon. It started when a vehicle fire spread into the bush. The flames moved really fast, and 2 firefighters were killed trying to stop it. This incident became a catalyst for dramatic changes in wildfire safety and training and response. So that's one of the transmission lines. Here's what I've learned. In 2001, state safety regulators proposed a rule that would have forced Edison to remove abandoned power lines unless they were committed to using them. Edison fought it, so these zombie lines could sit there forever. This line, decommissioned in 1971, is still here 54 years later. Close enough to the active lines to pick up electricity through induction. Ever since the surveillance footage was released that reportedly shows the fire's exact point of origin, I've been curious to understand from a scientific perspective what exactly happened. Earlier, I spoke with a friend of mine who is also a physicist to get his point of view.
There seems to be this kind of perfect storm scenario that might have led to a electromagnetic induction event.
Electromagnetic induction is when a wire picks up electricity just by being near another live wire.
Induction itself isn't the issue here because that always happens in zombie wires when they run side by side with live wires. So it seems the real problem here is that you had a extremely overloaded grid in the middle of a windstorm that Edison's 100-foot tall pile of metal garbage couldn't handle without a mechanical breakage somewhere.
if Edison did start this fire, which I tend to believe that they did, like, how do they fix this? How do they fix this wilderness preserve area that like we all enjoyed and now is going to be offline for, I don't know, 5 years maybe? It's going to be a long time. But also it's just like, they wrecked it. They wrecked it. They wrecked the whole town. I don't know. I'm trying to like figure out how angry I am, but pretty fucking angry. Well, here's the like most scenic perspective of Altadena from this trail. I've taken like 100 photos from this angle. Usually it's really beautiful, especially at sunset and early morning. But typically this whole area has homes all over it. And now it has homes and burnt down rubble piles. You can see the school. It's Edison Elementary Charter School. You can tell they're starting to remove all the real debris and starting to level it again. So to the right, we've got La Cañada in Glendale. This is Pasadena right here. Like right in this general area is Altadena. It kind of does that. So this area was basically spared from the fire. So anything like on the east side of Allen, which is right here, this street coming up, essentially like the winds blew up. And then when they shifted, started blowing back down into Altadena, they had fortunately skipped this area of Altadena. But you can see right here, this is sort of where it started to come back into the city. That's the Henninger Flats Trail. That's the one that takes you up to where the transmission line is. We got a bit more hiking to do. Yeah, this was all trail. I love hiking. I am not one of the more graceful people. So I take it very carefully when I'm in a sketchy part. So this is the sign that lets you know you're at the Pinecrest Gate, which is up this little driveway right here. And then this is way it goes up to Henninger Flats, which is where we're headed. This sign used to be at eye level, but due to the mudslides, it is now basically at ground level, which is super weird to see. All right, we're gonna cross the bridge. These used to be lined by trees. I think the trees are gonna make it, or at least some of them. Whew, muddy.
What wildlife have you seen up here? Have you seen a lot?
What I've seen up here in my hiking time is I've seen a bear, I know they're here, I've seen coyotes, seen deer, rabbits, snakes. It's a pretty active wildlife area. And unfortunately their habitat is completely destroyed now. And it's gonna be a long time before it's back to a place where animals can inhabit again. I mean, it looks like Palm Springs desert out here right now. I think like one of the most complicated issues here is that people are like, we gotta underground these lines. But like, if you look at these transmission lines, like they are placed in very precarious areas, and trying to underground something like this, I mean, it feels like it would be very difficult. I don't know how you would do it. I understand that they're in a very difficult situation with trying to figure out how to get rid of this fire hazard. So we're still on the trail. This is the first tower we can reach from the trail. The next one down is where the fire actually started. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be accessible from this tower.
Looking at these power lines that are kind of the like the suspect criminals in this scenario, you would have had an area overflowing with current, which then most likely led to a arcing event.
Arcing is when electricity jumps, or arcs, through the air between two conductors.
All these like metal sparks just fly off the surface of the steel. And as those are falling, now you have these like, you know, molten metal hitting California tinder. And that's kind of what the evidence is pointing to. You have also all of these outdated decommissioned lines. It's not an uncommon thing for old lines to be dormant. The problem is you have to maintain them and ensure that the integrity of the physical system is constantly being held.
It does feel like there's a lot of secrets right now being withheld from the public, and the answers are there. People know the answers to these questions, but we're not getting those answers. That's where I feel it's like a conspiracy to not protect our house. Insurance company wants us to move into our house early. Power companies are saying that they weren't at fault. Government is slow to respond. I mean, FEMA gives you $700. The federal government, $700. I'm frustrated because people lost their homes and some lost their lives. And too often it's the same story. Delayed response, little help, communities left to pick up the pieces. At some point you have to ask, what is it going to take for something to actually change? And here we are. I have to admit, being this close to the transmission line after what happened, it's humbling and honestly a little unsettling. You feel how thin the line is between calm and chaos. So the next tower down is where the fire actually started.
Do you think we can get to that tower? Is there a trail anywhere?
Now that I'm looking at this, I, for some reason, thought there was a trail here, but now that I see it, I can tell there isn't. There's a lot of rough terrain getting up to that tower. So unfortunately, this trail doesn't lead to the lower tower. We're gonna have to go down and come up another way. We're gonna head down to the gas station where the surveillance footage was captured. Hopefully, it will give us a better idea on how to approach the tower. So behind this tree is another tower. It's a lower tower. The line feeds directly to it from the higher tower, the one we were at. Through those trees there, you could see the spark fall, and then the tower is silhouetted behind it by the flames. After we looked at the video, we just realized that was likely the place where the fire started, just by the camera angle. So we're gonna head up there and check it out. So the other trail goes right to the tower. This one is much more hidden in the back of the hills. There's no real defined trail here. The terrain is vigorous, but manageable. After all this, I'm just hoping we can make it all the way up there. We're on our way on the final ascent to the Eaton Fire Tower, which I'm calling it. I don't know why, but this definitely feels like where the fire actually started. Just has that vibe. Feels like really scorched earth here. I don't know. There's all these indicators of like little pink ribbons and yellow flags that just feel like, it just feels like the authorities have been here and they've been looking at it. It's a real scramble. All right, we're here. So behind me, this small tower is where the fire seemingly started. We're not going to go any further up because this is an active investigation area and I don't want to like tamper with anything. But I definitely feel better about seeing where this thing started and seeing what it did to the preserve and to the community. On May 7th, the tower we just hiked to was removed by Edison. It's interesting that they took this tower out. Would make you think that it's likely the one that started the fire. This was not an act of nature. This was preventable. The warning was there. Former president of Edison said, "If we knew then what we know now, perhaps we would have come to a different conclusion." But they did know in 2001, when they lobbied state regulators to keep the towers up rather than remove them. What's gone? Our nature, our wildlife, our belongings, our homes, our people, our community. What remains? These fucking towers. Thank you for watching today's video on Homeward. We hope you liked it and that you'll subscribe to the channel. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.